How's it going, everyone? Got quite a bit to talk about in this video. Have some updates on PlayStation Plus titles, a couple of PlayStation Plus fixes, so to speak. We'll talk all about that. An unfortunate note about a notable free-to-play title, as MultiVersus' open beta will be closing out in June. Don't worry, the game will ultimately be back. We'll talk about that. And a major free update has dropped on one of 2022's better received titles. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, some PlayStation Plus notes. Tchia, which dropped on PlayStation Plus Extra day one. It was notable because I saw a lot of rhetoric online about people being upset that the PlayStation 5 version was only running at 30 frames per second. And if anybody is going to complain about 30 frames per second on PS5 titles, let it be known that I was one of them also complaining. Unfortunately, I have not gotten around to play Tchia, so I did not get to get my complaints out there before the fine studio did drop a brand new update. The PlayStation 5 now supports 60 frames per second at 1080p, resolved crashes experienced in some cutscenes on all platforms, minor bug fixes and polishing on all platforms as well. This is in the brand new Tchia update, available now on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and the Epic Game Store. Really wish that we could have 60 frames per second right out the gate day one. Like, this is gonna be something that I don't care if there's a lot of you out there that are gonna be like, why do you care so much about 60 FPS? An equal number, maybe even more than the people that are gonna be like, oh, why do you care, are gonna be upset about the fact that there is no 60 FPS support. So just get 60 FPS support, if possible, out there day one. I know there are instances like Gotham Knights where it's just not possible, or Plague Tale Requiem where I guess it's not possible. But in the case of a game like Tchia, it should be possible day one to get 60 FPS. I know this game is done by a smaller studio, so obviously I'm not going to be as harsh on a studio that created a game like Tchia that I am on some games, you know, that don't look that great and still run at 30 FPS on PS5. Nevertheless, we have this update out. Remember that Tchia is available directly through PlayStation Plus Extra, one of the better additions, and a game of this style that I would like to see more as a part of PlayStation Plus Extra. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't expect, you know, marquee AAA big budget titles like an Atomic Heart or Wo Long as a part of Plus Extra, but these lower key titles like a Tchia, like a Stray, I think they have a great place in Plus Extra. I'm sure that Sony and PlayStation can work out a deal to get these games on Plus Extra, and hopefully we see more games like Tchia, like Meet Your Maker, which is going to be a Plus Essential title next month, regularly as a part of the Plus lineup. But nice to see Tchia get this fix. Alright, moving on from that, this is something that I wanted to talk about for a little while. So PlayStation Plus Extra, a few days ago when it got its update for the month of March, did add Street Fighter V Champion Edition. So a lot of rhetoric online, I saw this being a point of discussion, is that if you had Street Fighter V, the Arcade Edition, you weren't able to access the Champion Edition on PlayStation Plus Extra, which was a really strange thing going on. I was gonna mention it, that it wasn't even accessible. Thankfully, since the time that this came to my attention to now, this has been remedied. So if you tried to play Street Fighter V Champion Edition before, and let's say you had the Arcade Edition in your library and you weren't able to access the Champion Edition, this has been fixed. You can play the Street Fighter V Champion Edition, no problem. So thankfully they got on that real quickly. Unfortunate that, you know, there's stuff like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot not getting a PlayStation 5 upgrade, and it seemed like that was something that was planned from the get-go. In the case of Street Fighter V Champion Edition, looks like this was just a slight oversight, and everything is fine now. So if you have been wanting to play it, that has been resolved and that has been fixed. So great to see some updates to some Plus titles. Again, that Tchia update, pretty notable. If you were looking to play that game, if you played it on PS5, the 30 FPS wasn't your cup of tea. Now you can play it at 60 FPS. Mind you, it is at 1080p, but still nice to get that update along with some resolving crashing and whatnot. And then also Street Fighter V Champion Edition, looks like that issue has been resolved as well. Alright, moving on from that, free-to-play title MultiVersus, the open beta will be closing out on June 25th as the studio will be preparing for full release in early 2024. Now, there was a message posted by Player First Games that notes, "Hi everyone, this is Tony from Player First Games. I'm here today on the behalf of the entire MultiVersus team to say thank you for your support during our open beta. We've been excited to see the interest and enthusiasm from the community, and your feedback has been invaluable. We continue to be humbled by the awards that the game has received and excited to see the enjoyment that MultiVersus has brought to players. Throughout our open beta, we've been working hard to build the best gameplay experience, and we appreciate all of the inspiration you've given us. Our open beta beta has been an important learning opportunity for us and a stepping stone to the next phase of MultiVersus. We know that there's still a lot of work to do. As a result, we have a clearer view of what we need to focus on, specifically the content cadence of new characters, maps, and modes to give you more ways to enjoy the game, along with updated netcode and more matchmaking improvements. We'll also be reworking the progression system based on your feedback and looking at new ways for you to connect with your friends in the game. To do this the right way, we'll be closing out the MultiVersus open beta on June the 25th, 2023. As a part of this process, we'll be pausing updates and taking the game offline as we prepare for the launch of MultiVersus, which we are targeting for early 2024. I'm sure you're wondering what this means for you. During this downtime, all online modes and features will be unavailable. You'll have limited offline access to the training room, known as the lab, the local matches, along with access to your characters and cosmetic items within these modes. We do know that this news might be disappointing, but rest assured, MultiVersus will be back. We'll also ensure that all of your progress and content will carry over when MultiVersus returns next year with a variety of new content, features, and modes. Along the way, we'll be providing updates, so keep an eye on our social channels and website. Thank you again to the entire MultiVersus community. We greatly appreciate your passion and excitement and can't wait to share our next chapter with you. So there you go. It is shutting down, but it's shutting down the open beta period, and it will be preparing for full launch in early 2024. It'll be interesting to see if MultiVersus can revitalize some of that excitement that it had when it initially dropped in open beta, when it does see its full release. It's the case with a lot of these free-to-play titles that have a lot of buzz when they hit, the open beta market, or they just be released. They have a gargantuan amount of interest right out the gate, but how much of that is sustainable? You're gonna see the articles and whatnot that say, oh, MultiVersus has lost 95% of its player base, but that is gonna be the case for the majority of titles. The majority of games cannot sustain their day one player base. I even see articles like that about single player games, because Steam has their player count public, and it's like, guys, it's a single player game. People are gonna beat it, and then they're gonna move on with their life, that's just the reality of the situation. Obviously, in the case of a free-to-play title, in the case of a live service game, the whole name of the game is to keep a core number of people sustained into the experience, and that is ultimately how the experience itself is going to be sustainable, and how you can continue to expand the experience. We'll see if MultiVersus can rile up some interest and drum up some interest when it does drop in full release in early 2024. Lastly, I do want to note that Sifu has dropped a major update in the Arenas update today, with 9 new locations and 45 merciless challenges spread over 5 game modes. The Arenas expansion is packing up to 10 extra hours of gameplay into the already demanding title. Masters of Kung Fu will be pushed to their limits as waves of enemies crash upon them in survival mode, or pushed to perfection in the performance mode. With time attack, players can also battle against the clock on the path filled with enemies. Sifu's looking for a twist on the game's impactful combat. Can also try the new capture mode, where players must take and hold a marked area, or manhunt mode, where specific targets surrounded by protectors must be taken down. Regardless of how you choose to kung fu, you'll be dismantling your enemies across varied beautiful scenes, from evanescent colorful voids to rain-drenched alleys. Your enemies await, ready to be taken down with speed and ferocity. So that update is available right now, a free Arenas update for one of 2022's better received games done by Slow Clap. Sifu is available now. I'd recommend you to get it a little bit discounted. You can find it usually like 20 to 30% off on the PlayStation Store, but there is a physical copy, and you can find that discounted every now and again as well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, PlayStation Plus title in Tchia has gotten a free update now supporting 60 FPS. Street Fighter V Champion Edition has been fixed on PS Plus Extra. MultiVersus open beta closing out on June 25th with a full launch scheduled for early 2024, and Sifu gets a free update in the Arenas mode and the Arenas expansion. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.